broken up and you have a better evaporation of water from this. Here's how the system, the same boiler looks like. In the bottom we have the pre-combustion furnace, and then we have the fire tube boiler on top of it. Over here we have the fuel feeding, and here we have the multi-cycle. Here the multi-cycle at the back of the boiler, and then the cell screws and the gas is going to the bottom. Here we look into the furnace. You can see this here is not a screw conveyor. This is, we call it a moving floor. You have this system is moved by hydraulic, and you have this like a triangle. Maybe I can show you see here you can see the bars, and here you can have the triangles moving the biomass into the furnace. Then here we have every second set of grate bars is fixed, and every second set is moved by the hydraulic systems. But I think we should move back one time here. You can see there are three set of hydraulic systems. That means you don't necessarily have to move the grate bars at the same time, depending on the fuel. If you need the fuel to turn faster in the beginning and slower at the end, then you can adjust it by the hydraulic system. Then what I think is very important is supply of air. Here we have supply of secondary air into the boiler. If you look, you can see here 3 holes, here 2 holes. You should not let secondary air supply be at the same distance, because then you'll make problems. They have to be like, here you can see it's a little bit closer, here it's further away, then this one is blowing in the middle between these two. Doing this, then you get a much better mix between air and combustible gases. Here, refractory at the top, and then the flue gas burning in here has to pass this way into the pre-combustion furnace, where you can add additional air at the top in case you haven't got full combustion. How to know if you've got full combustion? You can know this by carbon monoxide. If you have too high content of carbon monoxide, then something is wrong with your air mixture. You need to put some more air or more oxygen for the combustion. How much the impact is, I have made a calculation we can take a look at later on. Here, installation of step grate, the furnace and boiler to be mounted on top, so we get a setup like the red solution we saw before. Right here, this here is for the water cooling. This is fuel feeding, and you can see here, you can see supply of secondary air. This is from a district heating company in Denmark. Here we are looking at too high, then this here will open a solenoid, it's a solenoid valve, and then we'll flush water into it, so we avoid that we'll have fire burning back into the fuel storage. Over here, this is a variable frequency drive, and it's probably used on the forced draft fan. So when the demand for more steam goes up, then this will start to run faster, and also the fuel feeding will start to run faster according to demand. I know that this boiler, to maintain a constant vacuum inside the furnace, and that means it's basically operating independent on the forced draft fan. The forced draft fan is running according to the steam demand, and then the induced draft fan is only trying to maintain a constant vacuum. This way you have very good combustion. You can operate with very low oxygen temperatures. When I started working with biomass boilers, we said oxygen temperature should be in the range of 12 to 14% oxygen. But now we're talking about 5 to 8% oxygen. It means we're getting very high efficient boilers. It was quite funny when we started using biomass. We talked about straw-fired boilers having an efficiency, system efficiency, in the range of 60%. Then the government, Danish government, came up with investment subsidies. They said, if you can increase the efficiency to 70% or better, then we subsidize the investment for the boilers. And then all the boiler suppliers, they started working, because if they could do this, then they could attract more customers. Then after a couple of years, when all the boilers had 75% efficiency, then the government said, sorry, no more subsidies, because now all the boilers have got the efficiency. And then the boiler manufacturer, they started screaming. And then the government said, okay, then make it 80%, then you can have subsidy again. And they managed to get it at 80 and 85%. And then the government said, okay, now we stop it because all the boilers. And then they started screaming again, and then they said, okay, make it 90. And now there are even small domestic biomass boilers for domestic heating with efficiency above 90%. So it's, when you say, oh, we cannot, it's not possible. Sorry, no investment subsidy. And then they make it possible. Here, what is this? This is actually the top